Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Intuitive Insights in Tarot. With me, I'm Scott, and Cherie is here to help me navigate the chat and make sure everything looks okay on the screen. And I have Sandy is here with me as well, and Sandy's going to be maybe coming up with some questions for the cards concerning this topic. Okay. And this might be a long one, so if you guys are ready, I'm going to try to explain the aliens, extraterrestrials, extradimensionals, maybe Terrans that are cryptic that have been here for a long time, to the best of my ability. And this is stuff that I've learned over the years. Some of it's just my opinion, and some research I did last night to try to get it all in a cogent way that I can explain it. And first off, I want to say that Arcons is just a general term that I use for any um, invasive species that, or maybe not even invasive. Some of them may have even been born here, um, that have taken control over the human race. All right. Um, you've heard the word monarch, and that's for a king. Well, the term arc, that means a commanding, like, or a king or an emperor or something like that. Okay, and so I want to start chronologically and tell you who I think was the maybe the first one that was non-human, that was using humans as a prey source, and that would be the reptilians. And I think that we're dealing with two groups of reptilians. One evolved here on Earth alongside human beings, and they lived mainly underground. And I don't think that they were necessarily evil. Um, they just they had their place underground, we had our place above ground, and we didn't really mix too much with them. Okay. Um, then and like I said, since they evolved here, I think they've been here for millions of years. Or whatever time frame you want to give. Maybe the Earth isn't even millions or billions of years old. That's another story. Okay, and but the real bad guys who came here and started the real oppression of the creatures. I don't even they weren't even humans yet here on Earth. They were the Anunnaki. Okay, now if you want to learn more about the Anunnaki, I suggest he does a really good job of it. Is the guy, I can't think of his name right now, but he's got a YouTube channel. It's very slick, it's very professionally done. You can tell the guy has background in production. Anyways, the name of the show is Y Files. If you just type in Y Files and Anunnaki, you'll find this pretty long video about it. And so, in very short terms, the Anunnaki come from a planet called Nibiru. By the way, this is not science fiction. NASA has identified a planet they call the ninth planet, um, that is somewhere outside of the Oort cloud. They think that the Earth is part of a binary star system, and this planet circles that other star. And every once in a while, every 26,000 years or something, they come close enough together where it makes it easier for them to get here. Anyways, their planet was dying. Now, the Anunnaki are from 12 to 15 feet tall. They live for 200,000 years, um, and they have space flight. And their planet was dying because of industrialization had destroyed their atmosphere, and and they needed gold to to clean it up and prevent the extinction of their race. Uh, when they went out looking for gold, they found it on planet Earth. So they sent a contingent here to retrieve the gold. It was led by these two brothers, Enlil and Enki. They came here in a starship with 300,000 uh, Anunnaki and 600,000 slave race workers that were called the Ijiji. And so they came here, and I'm gonna this could be long. I'm gonna try to make it short. So they came here. They had their slaves working, collecting the gold, and then and this went on for 100,000 years or so, however long, a long time, just say a long time, and they were using very brutal methods to get the Gigi to work faster because they needed to get this gold back to their planet to save it. And so they were torturing them, and they were just really mistreating them very much. So the Ajiji rebelled, and there was a big rebellion. And even though the rebellion failed, the the Anunnaki decided they couldn't use the Ajiji in the mines anymore because they couldn't trust them. And that's when one of the brothers, I believe it was Enki, said, "Hey, look, we have these indigenous creatures here. They're bipedal. They're fairly intelligent. We can tweak their DNA, and we can get them to do the work." And so, and by the way, there's scientific evidence to support this. Evidently, there's modifications to human DNA that could only be done through genetic splicing. Um, like I said, this is all in this very long, it's a pretty long video by Y-Files on the Anunnaki. I suggest you watch it. Um, okay, so I'm going to try to cut through this a little bit faster here. So the Anunnaki, they got the gold they needed, and then they left, and they've been gone for a long time. But one of the things they did was they interbred with humans, and they set up bloodlines. And these are like all the the monarchs, got that word in there again, um, that basically controlled the earth, and that's where you got these bloodline families that are still alive today. Um, okay, I want to pause here for a moment and see if Sandy or Cherie have any questions. Are you following me? Because if you guys are following me, then I can be pretty sure everybody else is following me.
Oh, I am. I'm
Sandy,
very interested in this. So
um, do
far,
you, do you think I've left anything out so far or made any mistakes that should be corrected?
I think you're
No, you're
keeping it
pretty much
simple, which
Okay, Sandy, you go first.
yeah, I think that you're keeping it simple, and you need to do that for all of us, even those of us who might have some understanding of this.
Mhm. Right. Yeah. Well, right. Some of you probably you know the story, but I just want to set it up like this. Oh, by the way, speaking of mistakes, I want to clarify a mistake that I misspoke more than a mistake last time. I said that I became convinced that there were extraterrestrials after watching the film. I said Chariots of Fire, which is a very boring film about some guys in the Olympics in the 1920s or something like that. Well, it wasn't Chariots of Fire. It was Chariots of the Gods by Zachariah Sitchin. Uh, okay. So that's the film that first inspired me. Up until then, I thought it was all science fiction, UFOs. Only crazy people saw UFOs and things like that. All right. So yeah, so the Anunnaki leave. At some point, I think then the reptilians found us, and they took advantage of the humans that were here who had been set up to already be slaves. They saw that we were docile, we were following commands, and they said, "Hey, look, we can use these humans as a food source and for other things. They feed off of us, off our flesh, blood, adrenalized blood, also known as adrenochrome, um, and also our psychic energy." Okay, so they kind of picked up where the Anunnaki left off, and they may have added their own DNA to the bloodlines as well. That's why you have who was it, the Sex Pistols saying that the queen is a the queen is a reptile. That was all. That song was a long time ago. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about there. That song. Okay, so where are we? So now we got the reptilians, and they're kind of controlling all the nations behind the scenes. They're benefiting from wars and all these other things. And at some point, I think they may have come across the reptilians that were underground, and some of them got together and said, "Oh, hey, these are our brothers from the stars," and they kind of made an alliance. But there were some reptilians who are good guys, I believe. I believe that there are good guy reptilians. Okay, so then many years pass, and at some point, the well, I want to get to the 1950s, and first, you may have heard of Thor Valiant. Okay. Now, in my research on the Thor Valiant story, I found that it's questionable. It may just be science fiction, but it may have happened. But there was another event. And by the way, real quick, Thor Valiant, if you've seen The Day the World Stood Still, it's basically that story. Okay. He came to Eisenhower, the president of the United States at the time, and he said, "Hey, listen, we've been he they say he came from Venus." And he says, "Hey, we've been watching you guys for a while. We see that you're making these nuclear weapons, and we're concerned about that. And look, we'll give you all this free technology that will advance your civilization hundreds or thousands of years, but first you have to get rid of your weapons." Um, and they go, "We don't want anything, and that's all we want. We don't want anything else from you. We just want to help you." Um, However, they warned President Eisenhower that there's going to be another extraterrestrial race come here soon, and they're going to offer you a deal as well. But they're not going to offer you um, technology to improve your lives. They're going to offer you weapons so you can dominate your enemies. And so Eisenhower said and these were the Nordics. Okay. Apparently, they landed on an Air Force base. I can't read my notes. It's called something, something like Hollerand something like that Air Force base, and they met with the leaders there, the leaders from all walks of life, like industry, science, religion, military, and government, and they showed them all their technology. And this is when wait, I got it. I'm getting ahead of myself. So the Nordics came down and they made the same offer that supposedly Thor Valiant made. And this story of the Nordics has been substantiated that it could be true. Okay. So then they made their deal. Hey, get rid of your nuclear weapons. We'll give you all this great technology, and the Earth can advance and join the Galactic Federation or Alliance. They didn't call it a federation. And then they leave, and sure enough, the next group comes. And these are the Greys, who are supposed to be from Zeta Reticuli. Now, I think they lied here. I think the Greys were actually working for the Reptilians. Okay. But if these reptilians who are like 7, 8 foot tall and really mean looking dinosaur guys tried to have a negotiation with their, I think they would have not even talked to them. So the grays, they're these short little gray guys. They don't look dangerous. They could talk to them. So they made the offer and they say, hey, listen, we'll give you these really cool weapons and some technology that will advance your ability. But all we ask is to give us a place where we can build some bases. We'll dig them underground and we'll work with you there and allow us to take some of your people for research. And so Eisenhower made his decision, peace and a great, utopian society or weapons. Well, Eisenhower was a military guy. What's he going to choose, right? He chose to work with the Greys. And then at some point they figure out that these Greys did not keep their bargain, that they were taking way more people than they said they were going to take or they thought they were going to take. They were doing things with these people, such as, well, one of the stories that I saw was as the military or somebody was digging underground, they broke into a chamber where the Greys had set up like a nursery, and they could see that they were feeding them human parts. Okay. So that's when, and I went and I watched I watched his farewell speech last night. Eisenhower came on, and it was very veiled threat, but he warned us about the um, military industrial complex, which was what we saw in this film that we watched recently, The Age of Disclosure, how this is really the big enemy here. And he warned us about that. Okay. Uh, so that's when they signed this treaty with the Greys called, they call it the Griada. It's spelled many different ways, but the Griada Treaty. And I think that's what Eisenhower was trying to warn us about when he said, be careful how much power you give to these private, unregulated, no oversight, industrial military complex. These private businesses, uh, these military arms producers. Oh, and this is when they created the Majestic 12, and there are these reports of a bunch of people coming into this hangar and seeing the Greys and seeing all the aircraft they or spacecraft they had there. Oh, this got me thinking Roswell. So, like I said, I think the Greys. It seems like the Greys were created by the reptilians. That's why they say they don't really have a soul. They're more like automatons. They seem to have no emotions. And why did they crash? Why did when the ship that crashed in Roswell supposedly had 4 Greys on it? People are like, oh, they traveled millions of light years, but then crashed on Earth. Probably the reptilians crashed them there on purpose, you know, to give them the technology that way. I don't know. It's all go and look at the story for yourself. It gets pretty crazy. Okay, so that was in the 50s. And then in 1961, that was when Eisenhower gave the industrial complex warning speech. Then Kennedy comes along a little while later, and he must have been briefed on all of this. And this is when he says, you know what? This deal's not good. This is not working for us. And that's when he gives the secret society speech. And it was just months after that when he was supposedly taken out by an assassin's bullet. That's when I believe the another uh, underground, or what do you call government, shadow government, not shadow government. What do you call that? Anyways, that's when they created another government that was running behind the scenes. Kennedy faked his death, went into hiding, and started the whole Q thing because the only way to fight these guys would be from the shadows and in secret. And this brings us to what I'm going to look at with the cards. Where are my cards? Excuse me for just a second. My cards went missing. Looking. While I'm searching for my cards, Sandy and Sheree, you guys can make any comments you want.
Hmm. Well, you definitely gave us the cliff notes.
Is there anything you would like to add or clarify or question?
Well, the reptilians are not the only ones underground. We also have the ant people that the Aborigine talked about.
Okay, but I don't think they were ever. Well, I don't know. I don't haven't heard any stories about them preying on humans. In fact,
No,
I think
they
they
were more
were
sleeping.
helping
Yeah,
the
they were.
Native Americans,
Yeah, they were
right?
helpers.
Yeah. So and yeah, there are probably 20 or 30 other different species. Not not really going to talk about them right now. I'm talking about the main um, Archon overseers, the ones who've been preying on the human race. Okay. And this is my question. So if Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, faked his death, went underground, and began this subversive counter insurgency, basically. Um, and there's been a couple of times when they've been close, but then they, they got set back. Um, but now here we are with Donald Trump, and the idea that the optimistic view, okay, is that Donald Trump or somebody who's been replaced to look like Donald Trump, maybe the original Donald Trump, is a bad guy, I don't know. But this guy who we're calling Donald Trump has been has agreed to work with the Galactic Alliance, and they recognize that we've been in an unfair fight against an enemy that's secretive and much more powerful and intelligent than we are. So they're helping us out. Now, I think a lot of people think that the Archons are still in control. That Donald Trump is just another lame duck Archon, a puppet of the Archons, and we've all been fooled by Q, and we're all expecting, the med beds in Nisar Jasar, and we're going to get our sovereignty back. But that's all just been been a pacifying psyop, so that they could deliver the coup de grace and kill off 90% of us and then take over the planet. And Sandy, this is why I have you here because I know that you believe we're on the positive timeline, but you have concerns about like what I just mentioned. Um, well, after we watch the movie, you voice those. Oh, by the way, I want to address something Stacy said when we were watching the movie. She's like, "Oh, and then I see all these people that I think are the enemy, like Adam Schiff and Barack Obama." I want to explain that, Stacy, if you're watching, and anybody else who watches the film, that there were 34 whistleblowers who were interviewed for the show. it wasn't Adam Schiff. He wasn't one of them, and it wasn't Barack Obama. That was during a part of the film where they're saying, "Hey, people want disclosure, and this is a nonpartisan topic. It's like one of the only things that hasn't been politicized yet." And and that's a good thing. And the other point I want to make is all these people that are like the opposition and the Democrats, they're just actors playing a role. They're not even real. Okay, so or they've been tasked with playing the role of a black hat until we get to the truth. Okay, now Sandy, I know you opened your mic. I want to get you in here. Tell me what concerns and maybe play, the devil's advocate for people who really think we're on the wrong side of it. What do you think?
So like right now I thought we were going to watch, but anyhow, basically my comment is I'm an observer and I sit back and I take everything all in. So the last 5 years anyways, I've been looking at a lot of different information. I have an open mind, so I listen to all sides of everything. And then once I have enough information, I make my sort of decisions. Um, I also look around in my own communities, and I think that's what people need to do. So I'm in Canada, major large city here, and every time I'm driving around or every time, because I'm aware of it, I was also involved with politics in my community trying to make a difference, and I can see exactly the corruption. So have a look around you. The cement cities going in, 15-minute cities, and those are actually on city websites. It'll tell you straight out. So what I see is that we're being geared to push towards the lockdown, but people are quite happy with that. If you understand what I'm saying, they've got everything around them. They don't need to go anywhere else. And then all of a sudden, everything will be shut down with all the digital and the electrical vehicles and all this other kind of stuff can be controlled from the outside, right? And then there will be lockdown and then there will be no way out. That is my major concern. Like the frog in the warm pot of water that keeps boiling and then, the frog doesn't know he's going to die until the end. So that's my major concern. I have a lot to say, but not right
Okay.
now.
So I gave you my reply to that when we talked about this the other day, and I'm going to do it here again for everybody.
Thank you.
Um, there's a lot. Yeah, thank you for your opinion. Uh, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who agree with you. Okay. And I've heard this voice before, and this is the most logical way to explain the things that you're seeing, Sandy. Um, we live in a dualistic world. There are levels of dualism, right? We don't want to live in a singularity because that's just nothingness, and that's where consciousness came from. There's a reason why consciousness split itself into light and dark and dualistic. But when it's so polarized, um, which is what we are in today, we need the only way for people to see what and to understand what they really truly want, which is freedom and peace and abundance, is by showing them how bad it can be. All right. And so that's what all of the things like what you see happening there is that's what that's about. Okay. There's a really good video that explains that maybe I'll show later. Okay, so the question here for the cards. Okay, good. I got through that in about 30 minutes. It's not too bad. The question is, are we all being duped? Well, me and people who are completely up, no matter how things look, how bad they look on the outside, like Sandy says, what she sees, no matter how bad it looks on the outside, I believe that all of this is working towards a greater good and we're about to enter into it. I believe the film, The Age of Disclosure, helps with that because those of you who are watching this and who understand the things that I've said and are not looking at me like I'm crazy, we only make up 10 or 15% of the people on Earth. So how are you going to get to the other people? Well, it's going to be through films like The Age of Disclosure. Um, but yeah, here's the question for the cards. Let me pull up my overhead camera. Uh, are those of us, and by the way, the reason I'm so positive isn't really because of the things that I see around me, because if I were like Sandy and I had to be honest, I'd say, yeah, they do look bad. It's because of what happened to me when I was 19 years old. A lot of you know the story. I'll briefly tell it again. I was looking at a very bleak future for myself because I was so different from everybody else. This dyslexia, I could barely, yeah, it took me, anyways. I just knew my life was going to be really hard, and I was wondering, do I really want to try to go through 80 years of this life, or should I just hit the reset button? And I had a pew pew to my head, and I was like 50-50, honestly. And I was just looking for any reason to not do it. And that's when a voice spoke to me in my head, which I've now determined to be my higher self speaking to me. And it said, you can't do this. And when I asked why, it said, because I was living in the end times and the dawning of a golden age, and that not the end times in a negative way, it was a positive thing, and that I was here to help people through it. Okay, so I said, I don't believe you because I need evidence of that. I just don't, I could, maybe I'm hallucinating right now, an auditory hallucination right now because of the mental state I'm in. So I said, I put the gun down and I said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to start investigating this. And in 1 year, if I don't find any evidence that we are really in this transitional time from a dark age into a golden age of light, I'm going to come sit down right here. I'm going to pick up this gun thing and finish what I set out to do. Long story short, sure enough, synchronicities led me to these to the realization that we were. And then I set about from the time I was 20 years old for the rest of my life, trying to figure out how I was going to help people through this time. And over the years, I know I've helped a lot. A lot of people have told me that I've opened their eyes long before, even before the internet, right? And now I get to do this. And right now, I feel like my main role isn't to tell you guys what to think or what to believe or all this information stuff. That's up to you. But um, to share with you my positivity, I know that we are entering into a golden age, and it's going to happen in my lifetime. Does that mean it's going to happen next week? No, I don't know. I I thought it was going to happen 20 years. I thought 2012 was not the end of the world. I thought that's when disclosure was going to happen. We were going to join our star brothers, and something magical was going to change, and we're going to be living in a much greater world. I don't know why my camera keeps doing that weird zoom in, zoom out thing. That it just started doing that. It's freaking me out. Um, okay, so that's where my confidence comes from. It's not from Q. It's not from Donald Trump. It's not from listening to people like Honey and Janine. It's because I was told. All right. So, and so because of that, I have prejudices, and I don't want to believe that I've been fooled and that I've been duped and that we're all, go and on this dystopian nightmare and we're all going to end up enslaved or killed. Most of us taken out, right? Eliminated, 90% of us, which actually isn't all that bad. Think about it. I mean, I don't want to sound flippant, but we're all going to go sometime, right? So, so even if we are on that negative timeline, okay, that's fine with it. I'll live as free and as happy and as healthy as I can until it comes time. And then if I have to fight and die in the fight, that's fine. I'm fine with that. All right. You ready for the cards? So if I'm if I'm right, go ahead. Somebody wants to chime in? Sheree?
No, it's just my throat.
Okay. So now this is making me very nervous because I trust my cards. My cards have no ego. My cards have no reason to want to go one way or the other. The way I read them does. Oh, this brings me back to another correction I want to make real quick about the Two of Pentacles that came up last week when I said, what was the agenda? I think the question was, what was the agenda from the film and meant to be from the film, or what was going to happen? What would be the outcome from this film, The Age of Disclosure? And I got the Two of Pentacles, and I sometimes I have to go and look up my cards because it's easy for me to get caught up there. I mean, one card can have so many different meanings. If I latch on to the wrong thing without thinking about the other meanings, then I'm going to get it wrong. Not so much that I got it wrong, but I didn't get it for everything that it could be. So that Two of Pentacles, let me just read you some of the things that come from that card. By the way, one of the things that confused me about getting Two of Pentacles, if I can get it in the camera here, is that it's a minor arcana. Because I was hoping, because I always hope every time something like this happens, it's going to blow everything out of the water. That this film might be a huge lever in our toolbox to move things along, but it's not. A pip card or a you know minor arcana card means this film in itself is not going to be the thing that turns everything around. However, uh, it is about flexibility, demonstrating the ability to manage your life and work. So I think that the technologies that they mentioned in this film are going to be coming out soon, like the free energy. Here, navigating through periods of change or fluctuation. That's directly from my definitions of a card. Navigating a time period of change and and uh, and evolution. So that's what this it's going to help bring a bunch of people on board, I think. All right, so that's the other thing I want to mention. So here we go. And by the way, I think all the archons have been dealt with, either sent packing, terminated, or imprisoned somehow. And that what we're dealing with right now are the human remnants, the bloodlines, the humans that were traitors to their race who were working with the bad guys, kind of like that guy in the movie The Matrix, the one who's eating that steak, even though it's a virtual reality steak. He says his body doesn't can't tell the difference, and he'd rather be living high with the bad guys than living underground in the dirt with the real humans, the good guys. So that's what we're dealing with now. That's where I think we're at. It's a mop up phase. And by the way, I think that they gave us a clue for this when the Georgia Guidestones got destroyed. They never found who did it. They never found an incendiary device. I believe that was a directed energy weapon from the Galactic Alliance and from humans that are working with the Galactic Alliance. All right, so that's where I think we're at. Now, I'm going to ask the cards. How far are we along? And I hope I don't get something. Why did I go blurry? Wow, what just happened? Focus on me. That's weird. You know what? What happened if I turn my camera off? Let's do this. Let's make the cards the center of attention. Oh, hold on a second. It's not mirrored. That bugs me. See if that helps. Okay. It's on my screen, left is right, right is left, and that throws me. So I'm gonna have to just look at my cards and not look at the screen. Okay, here we go. So the first card represents humanity. The second card represents where we are right now in our battle against the Archons, what's gone on in the recent past, what the outcome is going to look like, and the middle card's going to be uh, unknown things that are hidden from us. And then the last two cards will be clarifications and such. Okay, here we go. I'm nervous, guys. Okay, human race. Just waking up to the realization that we're not alone and we're learning and we're all our souls all come here uh, to learn. The earth is a learning um, like school for us. Okay, the Eight of Cups is where we're all right now. The recent past, Five of Pentacles. Oh, it goes there. What's unknown to us. That's the so no more major arcanas right now, which I find very odd since talking about something that's so big. There's your first major arcana. It's in a clarification spot, so it's not a main player here. And then the other one is another major arcana, also in a clarification, not one of the card what I call the cardinal positions. One, two, three, four cardinal positions, like north, south, east, west. Okay. So first I want to look at this Five of Pentacles in the past. That this is rejecting gifts from powerful people for a better life. So that means whoever is the spokesman for the human race has has gone to like the Greys who we made the original agreement with, and we said we're no longer going to work with you. We're gonna go on our own. We're gonna go it on our own, and we don't need you guys anymore. Okay. At some point, they try to break the deal that was made with the Greys, the Greada Treaty. Okay. The Eight of Cups is going it alone, going into the wilderness, the seeking a place where we can be free from the Archons. It's an ongoing search right now. And also maybe trying to get other people to wake up to it. Like he's on a pilgrimage. This guy's going on a pilgrimage, and he's trying to complete this collection of cups here. There may be more people willing to accept this film than what I thought there was. All right, and the reason I think that we have no major arcanas here in the cardinal positions is, like I said, they're gone. The main enemy, the ones who've really been in control, the Archons, they're not here. They're not in any of these major positions. Instead, what we have are smaller battles that need to be fought by the military against other humans who were with the the Archons, who now need to be mopped up. Now you could say that I'm just trying to confirm things I have said in the past, because I have said this in the past. But that's what my cards are saying. That the real change has already taken place. Okay, so this chariot comes up oftentimes for starships and for military starships. And at one time, the Earth was under control by the bad guys. Now, with death across from that, it's been replaced by the galactic ships of the Alliance. Okay? You follow me, guys? I am very relieved. I didn't get anything that that goes against my doctrine, what I believe. Now, I asked Sandy to be here because Sandy is on the side of the positive timeline. However, she sees these things, and I'd like to know what you think, Sandy, about what my card just said.
Okay, so you asked me to maybe ask some questions. So I just, as you were speaking, I kind of wrote down three of them, and you basically have covered the third one here. So I followed Dolores Cannon. So for anybody,
Mm-hmm.
y- yeah, so anybody who's has followed some of her work, she was talking about the two Earths and the three waves of volunteers. I think I'm one of the first volunteers, and I think you are, Scott and Cherie as well. But basically, I wasn't sure, but your cards have already said several times already that the bad guys, the negative side, has already been taken off of Earth because I think what she was saying, or somehow, is that the good people, the positive people, will be here on Earth to do all the cleanup, which will be easy to do when the time is right and we're given the technology and help. And then what you're saying is I just got chills going through my body now, is all the negative entities have been removed from Earth. And I think that that's what she was saying is that, you know what I'm saying there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
Great.
just wanted to make a comment about the cement cities that I said, and you said like, once they take away all these trees, it'll be hundreds of years before they can grow back in, and it's happening like here where I am for sure because they want people in these cities so they can be locked down, like I said. But once they take away these trees, I don't think people realize it makes the ground unstable. Okay, so
Mhm.
there's your landslides and all
Mhm.
mudslides and all these other kind of things like that. Also, what's that chemical? Not chlorophyll, but the other one, that for breathing, the oxygen that we need for breathing. So those are two comments that I wanted to say about that. Once they remove all that kind of stuff and block the sun out, I mean, we're basically not in good shape, right?
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I've talked about this extensively when with honey and all of these things like the plastics in the ocean, the radioactivity, and I'm not even sure if radioactivity is as bad as what they say it is. Um, Basically, everything what you just said, all the trees, and they've been cutting down trees like forever. Um, when I hike the Appalachian Trail, there's this one place on Klingman's Dome that uh, shows you two pictures that were taken like 10 years apart and just the damage that was done in that. Anyways, so all of the things that was making this place, actually, they were like terraforming the earth to be more suitable to their biological needs. Um, all of those things, even the trees, can be fixed. It can all be fixed. We're talking about technologies that Okay, like there's time travel technologies. If you want to grow a forest, put a little time warp bubble around it, accelerate the time by 300 years, and suddenly you got a forest full of trees. I mean, there's nothing outside our imagination that can happen. That can't happen, right? So no matter what dystopian nightmare scenario you can dream up for the future, there's a cure for it. Okay. Well, now, Sandy, did you say you had a question for the cards? Like I said, that's something I'm going to draw cards on because that's a core belief that I have that can happen. Like we're going to have teleportation. We're going to
Well,
have. Mhm.
yeah. So basically, the first question basically that I wrote down, and I don't know if this matters now or not, but I believe that at least 60% of these bad entities are in some in form of authority, like police, military, politicians, all this other kind of stuff, and they're in key positions like corporations, CEOs, and all of this other kind of stuff. So I don't know if you want to tell the regular people is how to recognize these negative entities and how do you protect against them.
Well, I can only tell you what I do. Uh, this is going to be our next movie that we're going to watch together. The subtle act of not giving a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Because I have created my own little reality. I call it my Tom Bombadil effect. And I realize a lot of people don't understand what that means. But somehow I've become insulated from all of that. Like things have gotten really bad here in Thailand for people who want to come and live here. Somehow it never affects me. I mean, even when I got arrested and thrown in freaking prison for having 1.7 grams of marijuana, which I thought that was the end of it, man. I'm never going to be able to work again. I'm going to get deported. This I thought my life was over. Somehow I just skated right through, and that's everything in my life. And a long time ago, well, it was what did it for me was when I went to the Appalachian Trail with no plan and everything just worked for me. And that's when I realized that the universe just puts the stepping stone under my foot before I even realize it's there. And I don't even have to look. I just put my foot out and I know it's going to be there and I step. I don't even have to look down. I know that stone is going to be there. Now, I realize not everybody can live like that, you know? So I don't know really what to tell other people except join please join my members only group in the 5D intuitives and beyond, and let's watch this movie The Gentle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Maybe that'll help. I watched it once a long time ago. I just remembered, wow, this is exactly how I live my life, and I think everybody should watch this. And on that note, I would like to also let people know, oops, that I'm still available for private readings. I'm going to share my screen. And I have a website. And I don't know if Stacy's there or somebody could help me out. Drop this website in the chat. And if you come to my website, I encourage you to read some of the client testimonials. It's just a small percentage of clients who have submitted these. I've had over 400 clients in the past 3 years. Everybody always seems so happy with their readings. And one of the things people tell me the most is they feel like a weight's been lifted off their shoulder. They feel lighter. They feel more optimistic about life. Um, that's the vast majority. So if you would like to book a reading with me, uh, you come to my website first, join this group so that we can communicate quickly on Telegram. A lot of people don't understand Telegram is a communication app. It's just not like Facebook where you just view videos and stuff. You can talk to people, you can do video calls with people. If you're not on Telegram, you really should be because it's probably one of the best apps out there for. I think it's pretty much encrypted, and as long as you're not planning to overthrow a government there, then you're pretty safe. Okay, now once you do that, I would like you to, if you want to book a date, you come to this website, and I want people to hear this very clearly because it seems like nobody ever does or they don't watch these videos. All the times and dates you see here will be in your local time. Okay, they're adjusted already. Each block is 1 hour, and then there's a um, 30-minute breather before the next one starts. It doesn't matter if you book 30 minutes or an hour. I will stay with you for as long as I have to until you are happy with the reading. If it's an hour and a half, it could be 2 hours if I don't have anything to do. Anyways, so you book there, you put in your information there. Now, all that does is alert me to the fact that you've booked. Okay. After that, I would appreciate it if you um, pay me whatever it is you can afford to pay. Okay. The fees I'm asking for are $110 for an hour or $55 for 30 minutes. But ultimately, it's up to you. How much can you pay? How much do you think it's worth to you? I'll accept anything from $5 and up. Actually, it should be $10 because I do have expenses and things that go into running this. That would just cover my expenses. Okay. So once you've booked and you've paid, then I will send you a uh, a Google Calendar link with a Zoom meeting attached to it. Click the yes button that you've seen the link and you acknowledge it, and then I know that we're there. Okay. Also, I want to tell you real quick how to pay. You can pay through Buy Me a Coffee because a lot of people get confused by this. Each one of these is $5. It's 5, 15, $25, and in this one you can click and you can type in however many you want. You put your email address, and then you can say hello or something like that. Okay, so that's the Buy Me a Coffee. And go back. Okay, and then I have Cash App, which only works in the United States. I prefer that you use that other than over PayPal because PayPal has set a limit on me of $200 unless you choose friends and family. Some people say they can't find the friends and family choice. Um, and this one is worldwide. PayPal you can pay from anywhere. Okay, and I think that's all I wanted to say about booking with me. Oh, and one other thing is I'm doing something new on YouTube with my members only. I'm gonna every Friday night Eastern time, starting around 9 p.m. I'm going to start having watch parties. Last Friday night we watched this film, The Age of Disclosure, and then afterwards we talked about it a little bit, and it was kind of fun. Don't you think, guys? You two were there.
Oh, it was awesome.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Cherie's always there, and Sandy it really likes the hangouts, even when they they don't I don't do them right. So, anyways, if you would like to get in on these meetings and also support me, come over and click the join button. And this is Thai body, more of that. So I believe, and maybe somebody can look and tell me, the 5D intuitives, and this is where I'm going to be having the watch parties with. I think it's $4.99. And then if you want to be really generous and give me a little extra, you can choose 5D and beyond, which is like $9.99. And if you join this group and if you follow my my advertising, hopefully we'll be doing it every Friday night, watch parties. If there's a movie you'd like to watch with us, suggest it, and maybe we'll watch that movie together as well. Oh, and it is time for me to end this, and we're gonna do a members only right now and hang out. And so if you want to join us just in a few minutes, I'm gonna end this video, and I haven't yet looked at the chat. Have you got? Has anybody? And any of you been following the chat? Does anybody have any comments they want to read, or are there any questions? And I've been hearing some chimes on my phone. Make sure I'm
Mm.
okay. So if there's nothing else that anybody wants to add in the chat, or my guests in the Zoom link, thank you, Lacey. Uh, the beginning of each month, I'm able to give away 10 free intuitive families. So the lesser of the first level of the membership, which that's what we're gonna have now. Like the watch party is the only one that's segregated for 5D intuitives and beyond. But what I'm doing right now is going to be open to anybody. Oh, Music Linda asks, how's Oreo? She's doing just great. This dog is so stoic. I love that word. She has not shown any sign of pain. She doesn't cry. She doesn't make, you know, she doesn't show that I know she's suffering. I know, even though I do, in fact, I have to give her pain meds right now. I'm taking her to have her bandages changed every 2 days. On next Friday, she'll get her stitches removed. She's still walking with her back kind of hunched from carrying that extra load. I'm going to start, once she gets her stitches out, I'm going to start doing stretching exercises with her, try to relax those back muscles and get her feeling good because she is old. She's 13 now. Her joints are creaking. She can't see. Uh, she has no teeth, but she seems happy. So I think she's going to end up living another 5 or 6 years, honestly. All right. So thanks, everybody. Special thanks to Sandy for being here. You helped, Sandy. And Cherie, as always, you're always here, and I can always depend on you.
And we'll see you on the other Zoom.
Yep, I'm gonna go start it right now. And thanks to everybody. Oh, I wanted to mention this. Um, the that video I did on the Age of Disclosure, that was an impromptu video. Only did it because, oh, and I did reach my threshold of I got $107 in there now, so I'm gonna get paid next month from YouTube. Thank you to the people who helped me do that. But the algorithms loved that video. So like the video I did before, I always go and I check, how much I'm getting paid, and it tells you per 1,000 views how much advertisers are going to pay. When I did videos with Honey, it was always over $20, always, because they like a woman, the algorithms like women, and she's popular, so I figured that's why. When I do them by myself, I get paid like $5 per 1,000 views. Like one video after a month will make like $2, because I only got like 500 views or something. The video I did what was it, Wednesday or the other day? Anyways, they paid me $26 per 1,000 views. Now that video only got 250 views, so I'm still not getting a lot. So you could really help me out if you go and watch that video. It's the one called Why Now, and if you see this, just go and click on that video, let it run. I mean, maybe you'll enjoy it. You'll help me earn some money that way.
Okay.
Oh, MJ Squirrel, I'm glad you got gifted a membership too. Um, so MJ Squirrel, you can join this meeting that we're about to do, and I hope you get better soon. I'm glad you were here. All right, got to say goodbye. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see the members that show up in the next live stream. That'll be members only. Goodbye, goodbye, everybody.